Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sallam. Let us start from binomantic terms. Binomancy. Binomantic terms. Today's date should be 10. The themes that we want to look at, we have horoscope, also known as ascendant, the stick figures, also known as the angles, root name, popularly known as damir, the request, isotope, so I'm going to use a single table to explain all the terms that are being mentioned. Just a single table will show everything clearly. So let's assume we are having 3, 7, 4, 1 as our code. Okay, so we now decryption using 8472 code. So 3 means atabat dakhila, 7 means al-umrah, 4 means al-bayad, and 1 means al-qawzaj. So this gives us the fifth figure gives us inkish, the 6th one gives us al-qawzaj, the 7th gives us this, the 8th figure we have a shakaf. Okay, we have all the 16 figures. Now, horoscope, also known as ascendant, it refers to figure 1 of a table. The first figure of a table is what we call the horoscope, also known as the ascendant or rising sign. So when we say horoscope, it has other names. Okay, names like ascendant, names like the rising sign, So it refers to the first figure in the table. The first figure of the table is what we call the horoscope. So it talks about the individual that we are doing the table for, the querent, the client that brings the question to us, the individual that owns the table. So everything about the physicality of the person, how the person looks, then the characters, the habits of the person will be indicated by the first figure of the table. That's why they call it the rising sign, the ascendant. Okay, rising sign or ascendant. Now let's talk about the stick figures. also known as the angles. The stakes, or you call them the angles. In every table, you usually have the angles. There are 4 angles. A table will have 4 angles. Those are cardinal points that are holding the table firmly, preventing it from falling down. Okay? There are 4 figures in the table. So they are denoted as figure 1, figure 4, figure 7, and figure 10. Those are the angles. They are figures 1, 4, 7, and 10. That is what we call the stake. So in this example here now, our stakes are this. That's figure 1, then figure 4, then figure 7, and figure 10. These are the stake figures. Sometimes we used to extract them and use them to construct a new table of 16 figures. So, I bring out the stake in this table now. These 4 now, I can turn them to another table. This one will give us another 4 here, another set of 4, making 16. So, these are the stake figures. The first figure, which is the ascendant, is part of the angles. It's part of the stake figures. The ascendant, the first figure. Okay? So, figure 4, which is also known as Imam Kolai. So, each one of them has a name. Okay? Figure 1 is called ascendant. ASC. That's the abbreviation. Figure 4, known as Imam Kolai, abbreviation IC. Figure 7, known as descendant. Descendant. Okay? Descendants, abbreviation DC. Okay? And figure 10, which is known as Medicoli. That's another name for figure 10. Medicoli, abbreviation MC. So in a table, these 4 are the most important figures in a table. Figure 1, figure 4, figure 7, figure 10. But in order, if we were to arrange them in order of their importance, figure 1 is the most important, followed by figure 7, followed by figure 10, and figure 4. So figure 4 is the less important out of all of them. But figure 1 is very important. Then figure 7, figure 10. Then lastly, you pick figure 4 if you are to arrange them in order of their importance. But all of them are important. All of them are the angles of a table. Okay? So those are the stake figures. Sometimes we used to bring them out to form another table. Okay? So now let's talk about the significance of each one of them. Like figure 1 now, I have explained that one, ascendant. I said the ascendant talks about the characteristics of the person that brings that the individual that owns the table. Okay? Now, figure 4 is talking about the background that produces that person, the home that produced him, the family background. That's what figure 4 will be talking about. Maybe there is a problem in their family. Maybe the father has a problem. Maybe the father lives short life. Maybe in their family they used to live short. It is figure 4 that will tell us all those ones. Now, figure 7 is the family that the person is going to produce. There's a difference between the family that produce you and the family that you produce. So the family that the person that owns the table produce, we are going to know from figure 7, descendants, including the wife. If it is a woman, it does say including the husband. So the couple, the partnership, the relationship house, the people that will come out from that person, everything will be under the descendant. Then medical line, that's figure 10. That one will be talking about the occupation and career of the person, the work that the person will do to make it in life. So we will know from figure 10. Okay. Meanwhile, each one of these four are angles. But what are they holding? Okay. Each one of them has supporter, and each one of them has what it is holding. Now, that one we call it the what is it? The cusp. Okay. Like now, figure 1 is an angle. I said the four angles are holding something, preventing that thing from falling. What are they holding? Figure 1 is holding figure 2, preventing figure 2 from falling, as well as figure 12. So figure 1 is holding the figure that follow it, which is figure 12. At the same time, which is figure 2. At the same time, it is holding figure 12. It will prevent figure 12 from falling. Okay. Now, figure 4, what is it holding? It's holding figure 3, which is the figure before it. Okay. At the same time, it is holding figure, the one that follows, which is 5, preventing it from falling. Now, figure 7 is holding the figure that come before it, which is figure 6, and it is also holding the figure that follow it, which is figure 8, prevent it from falling. Now, figure 10 is holding the figure before it, which is figure 9, as well as the one that follow it, which is figure 11, holding it from falling. Now, what about the remaining figure, like 13, 14, 15, and 16? You see those ones, they are like supporter for each of the angles. Like now, figure 1, the supporter of figure 1 is figure 13. That's the supporter that is supporting it. The supporter of figure 4 is figure 16. The supporter of figure 7 is figure 15. And the supporter of figure 10 is figure 4. Sorry. The supporter of figure 10 is where is it? Figure 14. So that's how they take it one by one. So you can now see that under each angles, you still have 3 more figures that they are holding automatically. So figure 1, under the umbrella of figure 1, you have figure 2, 12, and 13. Under the umbrella of figure 4, you have figures 3, 5, and 16. Under the umbrella of figure 7, you have figure 6, 8, and 15. Under the umbrella of figure 10, you have figures 9, 11, and 14. So now let's talk about the root name. The root name, also known as domir. Okay, I'm still going to use this as the table that I will use to explain the root name. Now, when we are talking about the root name is a figure in the entire table that will tell us the intention why the table was casted, why the table was generated, why. What is the person looking for? The person that asked us to construct this table, what is the person looking for? How are we going to know? So it is the root name that encodes, that is coding for the intention of the querent. So there are several methods for knowing the root name. A lot of them, about 20 methods. So you just have to stick to the one you know best. Okay? So one of the methods of knowing the root name, okay, is called Tumtum's approach. Tumtum's approach. In this method, you just count the single digits, the single dots in the table from figure 1 to figure 15. You don't touch figure 16. So you stop here. Count all the single digits that are there. So now, so after counting, you write whatever you get. You write the answer. So you now divide I mean, you subtract 12 from your answer. When you subtract 12, you now, if the remainder after subtracting 12, if the answer is more than 9, you subtract 9. But if it is not more than 9, you don't need to do the subtraction. Okay? So what I just said now is, number 1, count all the digits in the table. What do we mean by digits? Digits mean all the single dots. That is what we call digits. Single dots in the table. 2 is that subtract 12 from your answer. That is if it is more than 12. If it is not more than 12, you don't subtract 12. Now, if you have subtracted and the answer is still more than 9, you subtract 9 and note the remainder. Okay? So, you now do a redirection process using the 8-4-2-1 order. You know, we have different orders. So you do a redirection following. I will do the example now. Let's do the example now. We are going to count all the single dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From figure 1 to 4, we have 8 digits. It means from 5 to 8, we are still going to have 8 digits. So that gives us 16. You can cross-check. I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I said from 5 to 8, you have whatever you have from 1 to 4. So since we count 8 here, check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to give you the same. So that is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. 34. Okay? Count all the digits here that we said here. It is to 15th figure. Okay? You stop at 15th figure. So you don't pass 15th figure. So that is why this method is also known as delta 15. That's another name for this method, delta 15, because we stop the counting at the 15th figure. So now, we just counted how many digits? 34. So we say 34 minus 12. What we are calculating is delta 15. Okay, let me cross-check again. 8, 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 30, 32, 34. So minus 12 will give us 22. It is more than 9. So we subtract 9. Now, if you subtract 9 and your answer is still more than 9, you subtract 9 again. So now subtracting 9, this gives us 13. If I'm not mistaken, yes, 13. So it is still more than 9. So you continue to subtract 9 again, and the answer gives 4. So you now take 4 for a redirection process using 8421 code. Okay, so we are still going to explain that code. Now, 4. What we have in house 4 in the table, this is what we have. So a redirection will occur to this because this is not its position in that 8421 order. The position of this is house 7. So we are going to house 7. So upon reaching house 7, this is what we find here, called the carriage. So this is not its own position in that order. The position of couple carriage in that order is house 12. So we move, go to house 12. After reaching house 12, we see Nosferatu Daila. The position in that order of 8421 code is 15. So we are going to 15th house. On reaching 15th house, we see what we have found before, which is Nosferatu Daila. We still find it in figure. So we are not going anywhere here. It means the root name of this table is Nosferatu Daila at house 15. 15th house. So this is a method. Now let us use another method. The other method we are going to use now is called the mechanical approach. mechanical approach. So I'll clean the board and okay, I think I have explained mechanical approach in one video before. So let me go to another method. I have explained mechanical approach in one video. So let us talk about which method again? There is one method, there are some methods that are very simple, but they are not the best to use. Like a method says we can just add 1 plus 13 to get our root name. That is figure 1, add it to figure 13. Now, for example, in this table, we have nested Ataba to Da'ila. So if we are to add it to figure 13, this is our figure 13. Nasra to Harij. So what are we going to have? So this gives us Naki. Now, you know why this method is not the best? Look at our addition. It gives a result, Naki. But do you see Naki in this table? From figure 1 to 16, Naki is not even there. So the demerit, I mean the disadvantage of this kind of method is that it will be giving you a root name that can never be found in your table. So one of such method is the one that says you should add figure 5 to figure 14. Okay, now let us try that. Figure 5 in this table is in keys. Figure 14 in this table is Tariq. So upon addition, we have Ataba to Kharij. So now look at Ataba to Kharij. Can you find it in the table? The answer is no, it is not found in the table. So all these methods are not the best. Okay, you can still use the Tumtum's approach, is good. Okay, and the mechanical method. Now let's talk about, okay, what if we have found our root name? What do we do? What is the importance of the root name? One, the root name, when you find your root name in your table, it is the one that will tell you the purpose why this table is made. You don't need to be told. Somebody can just walk up to you that there's something in my mind. I want you to make a check. I won't tell you anything. Then you do the check. You should be able to tell the person that this is what is in your mind. This is why you have come. So it is the domain, root name that do that. So for example, this table now, where you have this as figure, as the domain in house 15, it means, don't forget, house 15 is under house 7 in the angles. When I explain the angles for us, so I told you that house 15 is a supporter to house 7. So, and what is the purpose of house 7? The purpose of house 7 is descendant house. It is the house of relationship, matrimony, the family that the person produced. You understand? So that means this person that owns this table comes because of descendant. Because of either child or marriage or wife or husband, depending on the sex or gender of the person. So if the person comes because of something that relates to partnership, something that relates to relationship, that is the purpose. That is what is inside the mind of the person. You understand? And most importantly, this figure, Nasrat Da'ila, is a figure that code for sexual population between two people. So it could mean that the owner of this table wants to have sex with somebody, or has just finished having sex with somebody, or is intending to go and have sex with somebody, or he will have an affair tonight with a woman or with a man. So that is Nasratu Da'ila. You understand? Now, so it is whatever you see in house 15 is talking about house 7. Assuming it is house 16, it is talking about house 4. What if it is house 14? It is talking about house 10. What if it is house 13? It It's talking about house 1. Each one of the houses has its own interpretation. So it is the interpretation of the house you first of all consider to tell what the person intends in the mind. After using the interpretation of the houses, you now interpret that figure itself that you see, that the root name peak. You now interpret it. What does the figure hold for? Every single figure out of all the 16 figures has what it encodes for. So